Herediano do well that could cause y'all trouble?
I think whenever you play in a tournament like this, you go to another country and you really get the team's best. So tactically, we've watched them a bit today, but I think first and foremost, what we need to be ready for is the intensity of the team, intensity of the crowd, the difficulty of traveling to another country and playing on their turf. No pun intended.
You ever been to Costa Rica?
Yeah, I have.
You ever played there?
Yeah, we played Alajuelense when I was with the Revolution. We went down there for preseason at one point too. So yeah.
What's kind of the atmosphere and the climate and the culture there?
Well, when we played Alajuelense that night, the fans sang the entire game. The stadium was small, it was tight. Very good teams, very good players. Obviously, very passionate about the sport.
Have you been talking to any of the other guys, kind of letting them know what might be in store for them, guys who haven't been down there, been and played in those conditions?
I think we've discussed it a bit. Even the staff this morning brought it up as well. I mean, though we're not all Americans, you travel as an American team. You're traveling to somewhat hostile environments where teams, I think, are looking to beat you, looking to prove themselves, and that's the mentality that you have to be prepared for. Guys are aware, and there are so many factors that play into games like this and doing well in games like this that you have to be ready for, and we've begun discussing it today.
Pundits are giving y'all the best chance to become the first MLS team to win this thing in its current iteration. I was curious, from a player's perspective, why can't it win the champions?
Why can?
Yeah.
Well, for right now, I think we're focused on winning the first game, getting the first result. You see last year, and even the year before, you got to get past the first game of the playoffs to really make it to a final. So, as much as it's encouraging that people have faith in us in that way, it's also important that we focus on task at hand. And there's several difficult games and difficult environments ahead of us, but this is the first one we have to focus on.
The transition to the new coaching staff here, how is that going in general? And more specifically, what do you think you've discovered about Frank in the time that you've been with him that you didn't know before?
Well, I didn't know him as a coach before now. I knew him obviously as a player growing up and watching him, but he's a very organized coach. He's built the foundation of the team from the back. As he's a defensive player, and I think his defensive mind has been the first thing that he's kind of stamped on the team. That's been the foundation for preseason to make sure that we're solid as a team. We're not conceding space, and we're turning the ball over so that we can go forward with our attacking players. So that's kind of been the foundation so far. And like I said, he's extremely organized and knows exactly what he wants out of the group, and has been building that for 4 or 5 weeks.
Personality, how you found that? As far as his relationship with players.
Yeah, when guys come from big environments in Europe or in South America, there's a concept of the manager that I don't think maybe in baseball we have it in America, where it's not there's not often a ton of interaction. That they're the leader, they're the one that you listen to when you're out of training, but you're not really coming in and cracking jokes and getting close to. They're the boss, and they're the ones that set the direction of the team. So I think he's a very nice person, but he's also very focused on the task.
The previous 2 years, you talked a lot about wanting to see consistent focus and intensity during the training sessions of the season.
I've said that?
Yeah, we talked about the need for that.
Okay.
Are you seeing that this week or in the past week or so leading up to this important game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, we've gone 2 years, obviously focusing on bringing a cup to this new club, but also building towards playing in this competition. And now here we are, 2 days away from that. So I think the focus is there. You're on an accelerated track, and that's a difficult thing, especially with the introduction of the new coach. They're getting to know us, we're getting to know him, and here we are a few weeks away from the biggest game that we've kind of been leading up to as a club. So the focus is obviously there is a group of professionals in the room that want to get the job done, and we've been working towards this.
How different will it feel going from 40s and windy and rainy to down to the tropics to play? How will you guys prepare for that?
I think we'll enjoy it. We went to California and had 2 weeks of rain. So, like I said, I went to preseason in Costa Rica, so it must have been around this time of year. It is hot. I think that the field itself, the turf, might be a bit of a challenge, but I don't think it should affect us too much. I think we've done very well preparing, and we feel pretty good physically.
You've had experience with the two-leg format. Do you have a preference for being on the road or at home for the first leg?
I don't know. I think honestly in the MLS playoffs, I think it's there's a greater advantage, it seems, in playing the first game at home. I think that the environment that you travel to is not the same in the Champions League. It's much more difficult to go on the road and play in that environment with the refereeing as it is, and the who knows what can happen kind of environment in a second leg. It's much more difficult to go, I think, on the road the second leg in the Champions League. So if we go down and get a good result and come home, I think that would be a very good feeling.
Last year in the first competitive game of the season, it did not get off to a good start in Houston. Have you been thinking about that at all, and how do you kind of help get the team prepared mentally and physically for this first competitive game?
Yeah, I don't think about that often. The focus is there, as I've said. I think that guys understand how much we've been preparing for this. And, we spoke about it today in our film session, just being ready for everything, being ready to step into that environment and take care of business.
Other than the environment, why is it so tough for MLS clubs to find success in this tournament?
I think there's an element of gamesmanship in when you go and play around in CONCACAF that you don't see in MLS. From the players, from whatever it is, the environment is very different, and that's an enormous factor. You're obviously playing the game as you always do, but at times it can feel like a very different game. You have to be prepared for it.
You mentioned the turf twice. I think I've read that the field is also smallish. I was curious if you noticed that on film, if that were true, and how that might affect things.
No, I'm not sure. I think their most recent game was an away game, so we've been watching some film on that. But we have seen them on their home field. It's difficult to say.
Say two more.
Just want to follow up on the goal that you guys have had to play in this tournament. How much does the identity of this club being bigger than just an MLS club fuel what you guys are doing, what you're working towards?
Yeah, I think that at times in the MLS, the MLS collective goal becomes the goal of each club, and it's kind of how the league is built. I think over the last few years, you've seen the success of Toronto and teams like that go into the Champions League and kind of beginning to try and plant the flag of MLS in regional competitions. We're trying to do that as well. I think that it's part of the growth of the league is competing regionally and making sure that we're constantly on that stage. And this is the first step for that sort of movement. I think it is kind of an MLS collective goal, but it is surely a goal for us as well as a club.
Last one.
How can, in your opinion, Joseph top what he accomplished last season?
Score 50 goals.
Just 50?
Well, look, we've got an extra competition, so you can tack on 10 more in there. That's right. Hey, listen, if he was standing right here, he'd say the same thing. So he wants it, and it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
All right. There we go.